Miss Marvel is a brand new Marvel superhero show about a young Muslim Pakistani girl named Kamala Khan went on a quest through her struggle of reconnecting with her family as well as the problems that keep her away from it, like dreaming her fantasy or having friends. One day she found an antique that gave her a superpower and all hell loose. Actually, in reality, Miss Marvel is a show made by arrogant degenerates who knows nothing about their cultures. They try to make a simple superhero show by mixing a lot of garbage political idea and messages regarding her identity that just doesn't fit well in a very grounded superhero story. Even the problem in the synopsis is just mind-boggling.
It's not really the brown girls from Jersey City who save the world.
Yeah, no one on earth would think like that. But just to give a fair handshake, the show does make good effort at certain things that basically good in on itself, like very original and creative ideas. But I still can't get myself off from thinking that the show just put these things to give you a little pleasure from all the Twitter mindset being shoved into my throat. There's a lot more than meets the eye when talking about how really bad and misleading the show is because of the nightmare stuff behind it, and I'm also going to cover the modern day writing that plagued most of the MCU projects. First of all, the characters from Kamal's family are ended up being pretty likable. But that's only because they are, well, who they are. Kamal's big brother, Amir, played a role as the big brother that tried to look after his little sister.
And remember to say Bismillah before you start the car. You're gonna need all the help you can get. Sounds good. We'll keep him busy while you run out the back.
He even gave Kamal a sweet little advice for after convincing their mother to let her go on a party. Speaking of which, the same goes with her mother, Muniba. And holy cow, she is epic.
So your brother told us about your Avengers party, and even though it will be a distraction from your studies and there will be a lot of haram going on there, Kamala, we have decided to let you go.
Really?
But there are special conditions. Your Abbu will drive you there and he will go inside with you for 2 hours. And as far as your dressing goes, it's time to stop fantasizing. I wish that you would just focus on you, your grades, your family, your story. I mean, who do you want to be in this world, huh? Do you want to be good, like we raised you to be? Or do you want to be some, this cosmic head in the clouds person?
The fact that she's trying everything to prevent Kamala from going on just to protect her is a good way of depicting a mother trying to control a superhero daughter so that nothing would ever go wrong. Muniba also has a rocky relationship with her mother, aka Kamala's grandmother,
or some plan to take out your frustrations on me. But you went halfway across the world to get
You. You continued to cling to these fantastic theories.
I really like this one scene of Muniba finally reunites with her long after she went to America to escape control. Even with the condescending conversation, this is a great development not just for Muniba herself, but also for the other family members including Kamala.
Welcome home, beta.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And lastly, there's Hassan, Kamal's great-grandfather. He is one of my favorite characters of this show because of the time he lives in, which is when the British drew obscure land that looked like my mugshot. He was brave and rebellious, and the show didn't shy away from that. He's trying his best to gather people while having a harsh living condition. Even when someone is trying to push him down, he's just not going to stop.
रोहन, तुम्हें तुम्हारे घर से किसी ने नहीं निकाला। क्यों?
Hassan.
क्योंकि मैं मुसलमान।
However, the show just pandering down on those characters because as soon the scenes just cut back to Kamala and her retarded friends, which is the most flawed and boring characters of the show. They, including Kamala, serve almost zero purpose in the story. There's one episode where it just focuses on one of Kamala's friends who wants to be a mass console. The 6 episode show and 1 episode is dedicated for that one pointless side quest. Heck, I haven't even talked about the villains. So they are in the show, and they died. And to add an insult to the injury, one of the characters that Kamala fell in love with literally changed drastically from a tall, masculine dude to a scared little rat who just found out that somebody's iPhone is way better than his Chinese Vivo.
Let's go get the bangle.
Sorry.
Let me.
What the hell?
So due to the mix of everything that the show is trying to focusing on, which consisted of family members, Amir's wedding, Kamal's friends, some other characters, history of Kamal's family, and the amount of stupid sequences with the most disturbing background music of all time, it all came crushed together in a blender of beyond misery, and wouldn't you know it, it resulted in a very inconsistent storytelling and uncomfortable moments, which the show is trying very hard to push those towards the audience.
والله تأدب
تحت الهواء
والله ليه حذاء
A lot of the things being shown in the show, like heavily focused on, is literally side stuff that's supposed to be shown in a short period of time. For example, the Friday prayer, Kamala's friend who got accepted in college, and again that one episode about the mass council. It brushed off the very important stuff, not just the plot or even the superhero thrilling action that the audience heavily wanted, which is only in episode 3 and episode 6 mind you, but also the lesson and advices Kamala was given that's supposed to drive her character as a superhero, because instead she was entirely driven by the environment and friends that tried to lure her away from her family. She's following the thing that the good characters, as I have to call them, has been telling her not to follow, so in that regard she's more of a supervillain. That goes on to say how the show tried to depict cultures and history. Now I do enjoy the flashback scene where there's a partition between India and funny Muslim lands. Like they really showed everything without any distraction.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to light and freedom. With those words, on the eve of August 15, 1947, newly appointed Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru signaled the beginning of a new India. After almost 200 years of oppressive British rule, India is free. The dominion of Pakistan has been demarcated for Muslims, while India is a secular state with a Hindu majority. An unprecedented mass migration has begun as millions of people make their way across borders, a consequence of a century-long British strategy of divide and rule. Riots and violent outbreaks have erupted across the country. People are fleeing for their lives. Bloody trains arrive to their destinations as homes are torched across the country.
Alone trying to depict Muslim characters because, well, this is Muslims in America, so you know it's not a good mix of delicacy. So they ended up representing Muslims that doesn't even representing Muslims. And the writer didn't stop there. They even dared changing her power from the comic by using the Pakistani culture and playing around with it without any helmet of knowledge, which is basically like controlling a nuclear reactor unregulated, which is straight up fancy, which pisses even more people, especially the Muslims. And well, you know what happened when you offended the Muslims.
No, 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 no. We're completely fucked, completely fucked. We're completely fucked.
It's actually not surprising that a lot of people, including me, just despised this show from the get-go the trailer was released. It's not because of the general things in the show, but because this is modern-day writing, where every simple superhero story had to represent a certain political agenda that basically contradicts what storytelling is and its morality, which Miss Marvel is unfortunately a perfect example. The show is just another bit of unethical modern-day ideas that destroyed every generation of superhero. Now look, I'm not a fan of Miss Marvel or any MCU products. I'm just a dude who gives fair criticism, and I don't despise the character. I just like everyone else is sick of how writing goes these days, because the people who did it only care about their message, their view, they only want what they wanted.
The thing of integrating her culture actually felt very easy, because that's my world, it's Sana's world, it's the world of many of the actors in the show, it's also the writers in the writers room, it's many of their worlds. Like we had some incredible Pakistani American writers in the room, we had writers from the East Coast, not just Pakistanis, but like from all kinds of people in our writers room.
Miss Marvel would have been fine if it took place in, let's say, Pakistan, with all the glory of the culture, without the Western bullshit shoving our faces every second, and also without messing with the source materials and ended up offending people. I mean, superhero story needs to be told, and everyone understands that. But there's a problem when you try putting your worldview that doesn't match the moral of storytelling forcefully and just doesn't care what other people think. You will harm the spirit and the people that's supposed to enjoy things rather than bringing joy and happiness. One thing that I like to put out, and it's a good example of a Hollywood film that depicts Muslims in a really good way, So there's a film that came out in 1981 titled Lion of the Desert, and it took place in Libya, which is the African equivalent of the Balkan. And the Libyans are mostly played by white actors, but the culture, like their attitude, their clothing, is all fairly accurate. Look, even the woman is probably clothed with a head covering. And even if the film is about a true event in World War One, where, well, a war is going on, there's no political message. The director is actually smart enough to use a fairy tale kind of storytelling to have a sense of morality. It's not pushing any kinds of agenda, because it simply doesn't. But okay, that's a war movie and it's not a superhero. Okay then, dumbass, go watch the Bob Boy. But anyway, thanks for watching. This video honestly isn't heading to the direction I wanted, because I really want to put lots of jokes in the necessary place, but I think it's not going to fit so well. So yeah, I guess this is my last critique video. Well, there's still going to be long form content, including one about Thor, Love and Thunder, but that's going to be for another time, so don't get too excited. So follow me on Twitter for no absolute reason. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I latest video, and peace.